Welcome to episode 5, The Hands That Hold, the Power of Connection. So, today, what we're going to talk about is human connection, how important it is to be part of a community, to be able to connect with others, and to build these mutual support systems around us. So, what is the power of connection? It's this invisible thread that connects us all as individuals and forms this network of care. It creates empathy and shared resilience, and it's expressed in very different ways. So that can be family bonds, our friendships, our community involvement, our social media communities, and just different shared experiences and supportive conversations that we can have, and even just a simple act of kindness to strangers. This is part of connection. Being connected allows us to feel seen, supported, and valued, and it reminds us that we're not alone in the things that we're trying to carry in life. So I want to contrast a little bit with what the difference is between connection versus isolation. So if you're in isolation, you're carrying your burdens alone. And that can be a little bit too heavy for one person. You feel unseen, you're emotionally fatigued, you're disconnected from your purpose. You feel silenced. And you really need those connections to sort of break out of that. So you need that shared strength, that feeling valued, feeling heard, emotional replenishment, when you can have a conversation with somebody and they can connect with you about what you're experiencing and share their values and share their personal stories and help guide you into a better place or support you or acknowledge you. It gives you sort of a sense of renewed meaning to your life. Just the act of not feeling alone in what you're experiencing can be very, very strengthening. So I'd like you to think about your connections. Think about who your communities are. Communities, whether they're big or small, provide us with shared experiences that uplift us. And being part of something greater really reinforces our resilience. So opening your heart up invites deeper relationships. And by relationships, I don't necessarily mean that these need to be romantic. These are friendships. These are community bonds. That connection thrives when we've got like this honesty and authenticity that are present. If you've ever jumped into a space and you just have a conversation with somebody and they start to riff off one another and they're saying, oh, I had this happen, it was really overwhelming, and somebody goes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I had a similar experience like this, and you start sharing that with one another and you sort of start to bond with one another because it's like, I can relate to you. I can connect with you. I understand you. I see you. And that sense of seeing somebody else or being seen is really, really powerful. Another way that we can strengthen our connection is gratitude. And this is one that sometimes people struggle with. It's hard to really express. We're in a society where everything is so fast paced and click, 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 and we move through everything. Sometimes we forget to stop and say thank you. Sometimes we forget to acknowledge the person who helped us get to where we are. I did a space the other day with Mark. Before I got on the show, I started thinking to myself about why this year I'm on camera and how it is that now I can just hop on his show and I can sit down and have a conversation with them. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being on camera now. And how did I get there? And I realized, while there were some steps that I took within my first season, and I did do some podcasts with the awesome team at Audacity, I really came out of my shell and felt a lot more comfortable when I started doing his show on HOP. And I had to stop and think about that and go, you know what? I need to thank Mark for this because these were opportunities that he gave me. These were opportunities to put myself out in front of everybody, to talk about what projects I had and what was going on, to be authentic with my community. And I would not have had that opportunity and be as comfortable as I am now in front of a camera if I hadn't done that with him a year ago. So I took that opportunity to say thank you. And you know what? I saw the smile on his face. There's an appreciation because people like to hear the thank you, right? And that creates a stronger connection with the person that you're engaging with when you can take the time to say, thank you, I appreciate you. Because of you, this opportunity presented itself, this door opened, and I want to take a minute to come back and say, you know what, thanks for supporting me. Thanks for, showing me the way or giving me some direction. So make sure you reach out to the people that are within your network. Tell them thank you. You know, those that have really been impactful, have been role models, have been inspirational to you in your practice. These are people that you want to make sure you reach out to. Now, I'm talking directly to artists, but this applies to everything. It could be something that's at work, where let's say you've sent out an email and somebody comes up to you and says, hey, you know, that email was fantastic. It sparked a bunch of ideas. So I'm working on something new now and I think it's going to be great for us. That recognition that you did something makes you feel good. You know, when your boss says, wow, you know, you really knocked it out of the park on that presentation yesterday. You know, you're proud of yourself. You're proud of where you stand, you know, and you feel more valued and seen and part of the team. So remember to do that for others and build those bonds with others. When we work together to acknowledge one another and to appreciate one another, we all step up, we all go forward, we all elevate together. And that's a really important thing when you want that connection within your community, is that, you know, we're all holding hands and pulling each other up together. So I'd like to go into the next part of how we put this into practice. So let's start with reaching out. So just sending a thoughtful message to someone that you care about today, that's putting it in practice. And that can be anybody. It doesn't have to be somebody within your art community. It can be anyone at all. If there's someone that you're like, you know what, I really should do a thank you to this person. You know, I just heard what Chiro had to say. And yeah, there's someone that I want to reach out to. Do it. Another thing that we can do is to volunteer or just to participate. Sometimes it doesn't require a big investment. If somebody that you admire is doing a podcast, hop in, watch, listen, support, give them a thumbs up, let them know you're there watching. Or you see somebody is doing a drop, go and comment on it and engage with it, repost it, you know, share in that experience with them to show that you're giving them some support. You can offer to write an article about somebody that matters if you have a platform where you can publish that. You can proactively go to your artist communities and ask them, do you need help? Do you need another person? Most communities, especially within the artist space, are doing this for free. There's no compensation. So when somebody is committed and really wants to help out, you know, whether that's, can I help you with promoting some posts, or can I help you with creating some content? Can I help you recruit people or build excitement about what's coming next? There's different ways that you may be able to volunteer. And if it's outside of the artist community, maybe there's other things that you participate with. And volunteering or being part of the community and offering that extra set of hands is a great way to sort of build that connection. So we're going to move on to the meditation in a moment, but first I'd like to talk about your art that you're going to be doing for this week. So I want you to consider when you're looking at connectivity, symbolism like holding hands or root systems or flocks of birds, coral reefs, interwoven branches, honeycombs. These are all things that can represent connectivity. Also take some time to consider, what does hands that hold and the power of connection evoke in you emotionally? You know, take notes, write down what emotions this topic has brought up for you, what points that we've discussed that you thought, oh, that's a good one. And focus on that and work on that while you're creating your art this week. So with that said, let's now go into our meditation and then we'll get into our featured artist for this week. So for today's meditation, we're going to do what's called box breathing or square breathing. So when you're doing your deep inhales, I'd like you to inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and repeat. So let's begin. I'd like you to close your eyes, get comfortable, you're sitting up, have your feet flat on the floor and take your first deep breath in, 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. So let's do it one more time. Remember, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and then exhale for 4 seconds. So here we go. So I want you to feel your body soften, relax, feel comfortable, and feel your heart open. I want you to repeat to yourself softly, I am supported, I am connected, and together we rise. And I'd like you to imagine your hand reaching out. Another hand meets yours. It's warm, steady, strong. Then another, and another. Soon many hands are joined, some lifting you, some you lift in return. All are connected, all holding one another. See how this web grows, a net of strength, woven with care, woven with trust. You are held. You are never alone. Breathe into this connection. Feel the warmth in your chest and the calm in your body. Notice how it expands outward, beyond you, touching others. And repeat softly, I hold others with love. Others hold me with care. We are stronger together. Now imagine nature's reflection, roots intertwining beneath the soil, branches leaning into one another for strength, birds flying in formation, each one supported by the group. Every connection adds strength. Every bond adds power. Feel yourself part of this living network. See it, sense it, and trust it. Say to yourself, I am part of the whole. I am connected. I am supported. Rest here for a few breaths. Feel the hands that hold you. Feel the strength of connection and carry it with you today.
Today's featured artist is Kausar Solanki, a visionary storyteller who paints with code, light, and imagination. Originally from Kuwait and now based in the UAE, Kausar bridges psychology, calligraphy, and artificial intelligence to explore the unseen layers of human emotion. Her art blends spirituality and technology, transforming pixels into poetry and data into dreamscapes that feel alive. Through her faceless yet deeply soulful films, Kausar invites us into worlds that reflect our inner lives, places where emotion, identity, and imagination intertwine. Her works have traveled far, exhibited on VA Vortex, COINFT, Aguilar Magazine, and adorned as NFTs on Object.com, each one a cosmic thread from her inner world to ours. As an AI filmmaker, creative partner, and creator of Neural Frames by Kausar Solanki, she continues to inspire audiences around the world to find light in creation and beauty in the unseen.
The tale of Kausar Solanki, a dreamer who paints with code and light. In the golden dunes of Kuwait, beneath skies that whispered stories to the stars, a child was born. Not just the eldest daughter, but a warrior in waiting. From the very beginning, Kausar Solanki carried a flame in her heart, bravery in her bones, and dreams too big for borders. She was destined for science, drawn to the mysteries of genes and galaxies, but fate, with its poetic detours, guided her toward the human mind, where empathy blooms like a quiet garden. So she followed its path, studying psychology with a mind that listened and a soul that understood. From Kuwait to India and onward to the shimmering lights of the UAE, she crossed oceans, not just of geography, but of becoming. But while the world saw a student, a daughter, a soul in search of home, what they didn't see was the artist quietly awakening within. Her hands found solace in the sacred curves of Arabic calligraphy, where art met prayer, and every stroke healed what the world had bruised. In times of shadow, she found light, not in escape, but in expression. Calligraphy was her sanctuary, her therapy, her silent revolution. Then came the era of machines, the rise of artificial intelligence. But where others saw cold logic and code, Kausar saw magic. She stepped boldly into this new realm, not to consume, but to create. And from pixels and prompts, she summoned worlds of wonder. Her art began to dream. Her videos began to speak. From faceless animations that hold entire universes, to emotional films that feel like memories from the future. She became a visionary AI filmmaker, blending soul and software into stories that live and breathe. Her works have traveled far, exhibited on VA Vortex, COINFT, Aguilar Magazine, and adorned as NFTs on Object.com, each one a cosmic thread from her inner world to ours. Her creations aren't just visual, they're visceral, spiritual, emotional. They speak of identity, of space, of dreams, of the unspoken. Today, she stands not just as an artist, but as an architect of the unseen, a creative partner and beta tester for pioneering platforms, Pika Labs, FreePic, Lovart, Vestra, Chic AI, Freebeat, Polo AI, Pixverse, Channel 42. She is trusted not just for her talent, but for her vision. She has been honored for her storytelling brilliance by the Project Odyssey AI filmmaking competition, where her films moved judges not just with visuals, but with feeling, that rarest of art forms in a digital world. And as if her canvas weren't vast enough, she gave birth to Neural Frames, a YouTube sanctuary of stories for children, for dreamers, for the curious and the weary. There, she crafts motivational videos, educational gems, and sci-fi lullabies, proving that you can be a lighthouse in the age of algorithms. Her style? Faceless, but never soulless. Her mission? Simple yet seismic. To create art that feels like a dream, speaks to the soul, and dares to reimagine what's possible. And she's doing just that. One video, one brush stroke, one visionary leap at a time. because Kausar Solanki is not just a name. She is a movement, a poem written in pixels, a warrior dressed in light, and the future is already catching up to her.
So let's create some art today. I'm in Wide Worlds, and you'll notice that I've changed the order of the activities. So now the most recent activity is always going to be the first one. So this week we're on episode 5. We're doing Hands That Hold, the Power of Connection. So when you're creating your art, I'd like you just to think about what connection, hands that hold, the entire theme of this week's episode with community, how that is symbolized for you, how you feel that that should be represented. And we're going to use that to create our art. So the prompt that I'm using today is a close-up of a woman's face facing the camera. She has vines and flowers extending from her hair and face, reaching out for connection. So I'm going to start with refractographs, and what refractographs are is reflections that come through a window. Maybe they bounce off glass or crystal and they leave a pattern on a wall, and that's what a refractograph is. I've played with it though, so that my refractographs are more organic and floral, so it's sort of like that idea of there being a reflection, but it's actually more light driven. So I kind of see it here, but I'm not really getting the effect I wanted. I'm going to try running that one again. So the next one that we have is the violet, which is a really soft, diffuse kind of purple palette. So we'll give that one a try. And then we'll try the floral psychedelic, which is more of an illustrated style, full of swirls, definitely very floral. And we'll try the colorful oils, which is similar to the muted oils that I did in a previous episode, but I said I would bring one in that was a little bit more colorful. So this is the more colorful version of that style. So there's several other styles that you can play with. Some of them you may have seen before, but these are our 4 new styles that I've brought in. So we can take a look. So this is refractograph. So we definitely get some of that light effect going on in the face. We see some of the vines and the florals. It's not my favorite image, but we see that effect. I think I'm going to like this one here a lot better, where we just sort of have this white illuminated and then a little bit of color in here for the florals that are coming out. So it's definitely better. I actually really like this image, so I might play with that one a little bit more. Here we have the violet. So here you can see how we have that soft sort of diffuse sort of look to it. I might actually run this one a few more times because I'm not satisfied with that particular image. I'll try that one again. Here we have the illustrated, the psychedelic illustrated. So we see there's lots of florals, lots of swirls, and those swirls are going to run into every part of the image. So I might run that one again, but I do have one here that I did, and I really like this one quite a bit, where I get some of those swirls are more in the background, and in the front is just more all of those florals. So I think this one here is pretty stunning. Here we have another one in the violet, so I do see a little bit of, sparkles or pollens or something that's going on her face, but it's a very soft and diffused pinks and purples kind of tone to this one. So you can play with it in different ways. It gives you a couple of other styles to play with. The other thing you can do is you can actually go outside of the activity. So if I go back to the main screen, if I scroll through my activities, the last one is called Create Anything. So if there's a style that you found that was from a previous episode or something that you'd like to go back and play with a bit more, you'll find just about every style in here. The only ones that are really not here are the new ones that are just in this specific episode because they were just released. But if you want to go and create in Asian decor or one of the ones that or soft gold from the last episode or the kintsugi, then you can grab those styles from here as well. So here we have the pink kintsugi, And if I want to try that one for my prompt. So this actually came out really nice in the kintsugi. We've got a little bit sort of an anime style to her face, but I really like the kintsugi effect that's going on in the background with the swirls, and it's very delicate and soft. And I definitely do get sort of like that rooting and grounded and connection to nature. So I think this is actually quite lovely. So if this is something that you'd like to try, you're always welcome to go back and play with any of the previous styles. So I have a couple of mid-journey style references that go well with this episode and reflect sort of a similar style to what I've put in through this week's activity. So if you're a mid-journey user, you can go ahead and give those a try as well. Remember that you can go and post your artwork on Webby if you want to share. We do have an open gallery that's going to stay open for the whole season so that you can add your artwork. You're also invited to join us on Friday in Hey Peers and share your art and talk about what you created and what its meaning is and how it matters to you. Would love to hear your story, and I hope to see you there. So keep creating, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, and I hope you really enjoyed this episode. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell so you're kept up to date with new releases. If you'd like to support art therapy and keep this content free, I'd greatly appreciate it. You can do that by joining me on Patreon, which will be linked in the comments below. Patreon members get access to additional resources, guides, ebooks, prompts, and even the opportunity to work with me one-on-one. Don't forget, we'll also have a free live session on Hey Peers every Friday. I'll put the link for that below as well. And you can join us there to talk about AI prompting or your traditional art, share your art, talk about how this journey is for you, and share your experience of healing through art. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.